Hello and welcome to Season 26 of the TGP2 series. Tonight we'll be racing at Hungary and Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. It is rounds 13 and 14 of the current season. And I am Roy, also known as Jovial Manatee, and I'm joined tonight by Dan the Man F1, a four-time TGP1 champion. Good evening, Daniel.
Hello, Roy. Thank you for that intro. That's very kind of you to tell me how many championships I've won.
Mentioning your accolades.
Yes.
Currently in the session we have Alistair Bain, the new championship leader, on pole position, on provisional pole with a 1:14.3, with Jack Pearson completing the front row.
Yeah, I've just seen Jack Pearson's lap there. He got through the chicane. There was a Renault who had gone off, who he had to sort of just try and get around, which possibly cost him a tenth or two. So they're all going to get one last run in anyway, of course. At the minute, we've got Camille Babo in third place. That's where he is in the championship as well. Alistair is, of course, leading this championship on 183 points. And we've got Jordan on 177, who is still yet to set a lap on the soft tyres in this quality session. Camille Babo on 176 and Owen on 167. You have to say Owen's probably the outsider now in this championship, but it's all finally poised. It's brilliant stuff, this championship, isn't it?
Yeah, Owen will be definitely looking to improve on 10th place. He is a driver who has never actually achieved a front row start this season, despite winning races, so it is the race pace where he's looking to capitalise. But, you know, P10 around Hungary, where track position is key, he's not going to be too pleased with that, so he'll be hoping to improve in the last minutes of the session.
Indeed, yeah, it's a credible stat there, isn't it? Owen gets a start on the front row at any race this season. We're looking now at Jordan on his first soft run lap, and he's 4/10 up on his fastest lap, which would probably put him about 5th, 6th right now. As well, surely he'd want to be even higher than that, though.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's only done the first 3 corners. This is where the soft tyres will really make a big difference, and he'll be looking to get another pole position this season.
Here we go then, we're about to find out what a second sector split is. Around this right hand, it looks good, he's a second up. Well, yeah, now this is looking serious. This is looking serious now for Jordan to get into possibly the top 3, almost certainly top 3, probably the front row as well, as he rounds the penultimate corner. And this very tricky long right hander after the side. When's the right time to go on the power? There he goes. He's out of energy as he crosses the line, but let's see where he goes. He goes on pole by less than a tenth of a second, 1:14.308, and that's what Alistair's got to beat for his final run as he exits the pit lane now.
Just 400ths of a second the gap between between the front 2 runners, the 2 championship contenders out in front.
Indeed, as we see Jack also leaving the pit lane now. He's in 3rd place in this quali standings. He's in 5th in the championship. He's probably, I have to say, he would need a lot of results to go his way, you know, to have any significant chance of taking the championship. But there's still only 2 rounds in this championship. There's still quite a long way to go. We're only just in the second half of the season. As Saya Sports almost losing on his outlap there, but he's got going again.
Watching Camo Babo on a lap. He's currently midway through the second sector. He'll be looking to improve on a second row start. Currently P4. Can he work his way up to the front row? He's only 0.02 of a second up on his previous lap time, which will not register any improvement in terms of position, but let's see what he can do in this final sector. It's a very technical final sector. It's all about patience and when you choose to pin the throttle. And he goes over the line in just a moment, and he will set a 1:14.6, which is enough to beat Jack Pearson to P3.
Yeah, he's fractionally there, gone above Jack Pearson then, as we're still waiting for Alistair and Jack to start their final laps. Jordan, of course, won't get another lap in now for obvious reasons. And Owen is pulled off. What? Well, that's strange. I'm not sure what that's all about, but Owen, in 5th place, is... well, I'm not sure what's happened there, but that's it. That's over. It's the session over for him now.
I think he did just improve. I think he did just go up to P5.
Yeah,
he was 10th. We're looking at Alistair now, and the session time has ended, so this will definitely be the final lap for everyone who is currently on circuit. Alistair will be one of the last cars to cross the line. Will be tense moments for both himself and Jordan. and he's completing the first sector now. He's up on his time, which is, if he can keep this margin, if he can just match his sector times in sectors 2 and 3, he will take back pole position that he's had for so long in this session.
And Jack Pearson was on also his final lap, but he is invalidated in the first sector, so it's game over for him. He'll start no higher than 4th place. Alistair, this is for pole. He's only got a little bit of time to find. Let's see if he's made it up in the second sector. This is going to be very close. This is going to be fantastically close between the top 2 in this championship. So close to invalidating his lap there, but he doesn't do it. He's managed to stay within the confines of the racetrack. Here we go then, final corner. How early is he going to get on the power? It looks like he's got quite a bit of energy as well to deploy down the final bit of the lap, which Jordan didn't have, and he gets pole. It's a 1:14.199, just sneaking into the .199 there. And he will start on pole, the championship leader for this race here in Hungary.
Very smart use of his energy there, I have to say. I know Jordan derated before the line. I think that was what the difference was in the final sector. He was just behind after the second split, but in that third sector is where he made all the difference. And he currently lines up, well, on pole position. I don't think anyone's going to challenge that. His teammate, I believe, Breezer, who is returning to the series after an absence, he doesn't have a front wing, so that's qualifying over for him. Debutant Zach in 10th place. He'll be quite happy with that, I believe. A top 10 start with a 1:16.0 for the Ferrari team.
Yeah, I think Zach will be delighted with that for his first race in the series. He's filling in for Mike Noon tonight, who can't be with us. He was also one of those drivers with possibly the outside shot of still getting this championship, but surely his hopes now have effectively ended tonight with him not being able to make it. But well, we'll see what Zach can do in the Ferrari. We know he's good on the rally course. What's he like on the F1 course? Got any intel, Roy, of how he's looking to do tonight?
I think he's just looking to get a solid race in. You know, he's quite inexperienced when it comes to this type of racing, so I think he will be pleased with himself for getting into the top 10. I think he'll be hoping to stay there in the race.
Yeah, it'd be great to see him have a good result. Dom also in a very strong 5th place as well around here. Yesterday, in fact, got Jack Pearson in 4th as well, and just yesterday there was a bit of a as we're waiting for this race to start, there was a bit of a revelation with some of the drivers, and they discovered that certain TV mode made the input reactions to the game quicker. I'm not sure if they've elected to choose that particular mode on the TV for these races tonight, but if they have, maybe it'll help them find an extra 10th or 2, right?
Yeah, it was the Mercedes drivers who noticed this, and they'll be hoping to capitalise on it. And well, they currently line up 4th and 5th. I think they'll be very pleased with these qualifying positions. And like the top 4, Alistair, Jordan, Camo Babo, and Jack Pearson, all right at the front of the championship. And then in 5th place we've got Dom, Mayor Quenby, also known as Owen. We have Joe Sayer in P7. We've Baza in 8th, followed by Blair Grills in the McLaren. Rounding out the top 10 is Zach, and in 11th we have Alex, aka Neljack. Angel versus Death in 12th place for Williams. Sir Tom Penguin in 13th. Indecisive Mackie 14th. I believe Red Bull Kim is the driver who rounds out Breezer, and then Red Bull Kim who rounds out the grid.
Yeah, Red Bull Kim didn't get a lap in for some reason, not sure why, but he will start at the back of the field as we get ready for this race here in Hungary. Tyre wear will perhaps be more of a factor than what it is in other races here in around Hungary. Some drivers have been complaining about excessive wear, especially on the soft tyres. That's going to surely have an effect, isn't it, as you wait for this countdown, Roy?
Yeah, the soft tyre really does not like this circuit. It's a very, very high downforce circuit with a lot of corners in short succession. The medium tyre does fare quite well. I think if we do get a lap 1 incident, then maybe the hard tyre will be seen in the race, but I think it should still be soft to medium, but with a very long medium stint.
Yeah, it's very true. Here we go then. Everybody has entered the setups. We're getting ready to go here in Hungary. The top 2 in the championship are on the front row. And we are underway, and it looks like a decent start for Jordan and Alistair. Kamababo tucking in slightly behind. Look at the two Mercedes. They also look at Dom and Jack. Could they go for the move into turn one? As Kamababo's going to try and go around the outside. Oh, there was a bit of contact between Alistair and Jordan, and Kamababo is going to get up into second place here. Brilliant move around the outside, but Jordan might come back and him into turn two. It's getting very close between the two Mercedes and Sayers Sports as well, but amazingly no contact, and it looks very clean at the front. And it's actually Jordan's got back into second place, so it's as you were for the top three. Terrible start for Owen, he's down to 7th, he lost on the position. Oh, and AlphaTauri getting very wide onto the grass there, but still looks all relatively nice and calm.
Jordan once again lost that position to Kamababo. He's now up to second place. Jordan will not be pleased with that, especially given that Alistair is off into the lead, and it's not the easiest track for overtaking, so Alistair will be loving this scenario, hoping that his race pace can match his quali pace and that he can drive off into the distance, which we have seen him do before. Yeah,
we have indeed, but at the minute we're just having a look at the tyres here, and it looks to me as though, well, we've only got two drivers on the mediums, Mr. John and Indecisive in 4th and 15th right now. Sir Tom Penguin and Nell Jack are going side by side, but it looks like Sir Tom is just going to keep the position there, but meanwhile at the front, Alistair, as he crosses the line to complete the first lap, he's got a lead of a second, and he will be delighted with how this is going for him so far. Jack, look at the two Mercedes going side by side there into turn one.
Jack just keeping his position ahead of Dom, and it's as you were with the top three. Jordan deploying overtake down the pit straight, but it was not enough to overhaul Kamababo for the second place position.
Owen desperately trying to get round on Sayers Sports now as well into turn two. Oh, and he still can't get past. This has not been a great start at all for Owen. His championship hopes possibly beginning to fade even further at the minute. Jordan, meanwhile, is keeping Kamababo honest, but as you say, mentioned a moment ago, very difficult to overtake as Jack runs slightly wide there coming as he approaches the chicane, but he will not lose the position to Dom. Just wonder maybe if there might be some team orders at Mercedes, given that Jack still has an outside shot at the championship, but well, I'm sure Dom won't want that position still, won't he?
Yeah, it will in a lot of cases. When it's this early in the championship, still be every driver for himself, because you never know what can happen in a season as tight as this. Every point matters, and Red Bull came off in the background, but and in terms of tyre choice, we have Mr. John and Indecisive Mackie, the only two drivers to opt for the mediums to start this race. Now Jack came into the pits, I believe, on lap 1 to replace damaged parts, and he's now gone onto the medium tyre, not opting for the hards.
And we've got Blake Hills and Mr. John both in now as well, so presumably they also picked up damage, and Indecisive. And well, considering Mr. John and Indecisive both starts on the mediums, that's absolutely awful for them in this race. They will be praying for some sort of safety car, not even a virtual safety car, it will have to be an actual safety car for them. Didn't catch what happened, but you would imagine they both go onto hard tyres.
Yeah, Mr. John has indeed gone on to the hard tyres, and yes, he did have wing damage, so it's not a very good start for Mr. John. He'll be hoping for a safety car so that he can catch up. Now Jack has managed to jump both of them now, and he's now moved up to P13.
So then, Alistair has got a 1.5 second lead over Kamababo, and of course, crucially, that means that Kamababo will not get to use DRS, as it looks like his team, Alistair's teammate, has lost it, but he's got going again, and we're going to see then Jordan, who will have DRS here. Can he make a move onto Kamababo into turn 1? It's really one of the very few overtaking places on this track. Tell you what though, Jack's not too far behind either. In fact, Jack, if he gets a good exit out of here, he might be even closer than what Jordan will be to Kamababo, as Owen now pits. That's an early stop for him on the end of lap 3. I imagine that is probably strategic as well.
Yeah, I believe that would be strategical, because he's probably just looking to get some clean air around this track, because everyone's running high downforce. It's very difficult to actually get some decent straight line speed around here, so you know everyone needs the downforce, so you'd lose too much running low. So everyone in terms of setup is going to be fairly equal. As you see Mr. John picking up a 3-second penalty, and it's still as you were with the top 5. Yeah, we had
Say Sports getting fairly close there to Dom, and he's just gone purple in sector 1 as well. Say Sports, he got very close up to Dom there but couldn't get through. So they were making that early stop then. It was quite a far way back, you'd have to say, from the leaders, but I wonder if it might tempt them into making a stop earlier than expected. I've still got 14 laps to go. 14 laps would probably be quite a long time on the medium tyres around here. But the lead at the front, again, 1.6 seconds. So he's beginning again to just slowly extend that lead. Jordan will try again down this straight.
He's a lot closer than he was last time. It was 9/10 last time. It's 5/10 this time. He needs to get a good exit out of this corner. He hasn't got a lot of overtake left. Camo Babo is managing it very well. It's Jordan who's got a disadvantage when it comes to that, and he just does not have enough pace down this pit straight. As we see Sayer Sports in the pits.
Yeah, Joe Sayer coming in the pits now as well, but it's actually be interesting to see where Owen comes out in relation to Joe, because they were very close on track if I recall, and Joe's actually gone onto the hard Sayer Sports, I should say, has gone onto the hard tyres, interestingly, and Owen is only on the mediums, of course. But here they come. They're going to be side by side as they go into turn 1. Jordan's picked up a penalty, that's crucial, as Owen gets the jump and is into 10th place. So Jordan has a penalty, which is obviously very good for Jack at the moment.
Yeah, Jack just needs to keep himself out of trouble, keep within the track limits, and he will be in a net P3, although by the looks of things he's looking very quick, and I think he will have his sights set on P2 at this rate.
Yeah, Jack still hasn't won a race this season, and he's got so close so many times. We had high hopes for Jack at the start of this season, and the hopes are still there. He can still get this championship, but as I say, he will need a lot of results that fall his way. Let's see if he can get into 3rd place here as he rounds the final corner. Plays the DRS, but I think they're stuck in a bit of a DRS train at the minute, and that might be why. Well, Dom, he was 5 seconds back anyway, but he now elects the pit, which promotes Badger up to 5th place. And Zach, on his debut, running well, despite he hasn't made a pit stop yet, obviously, but he's in 6th place.
Yeah, everything's going smoothly so far, and I think he'll be pretty pleased with that. I think consistency right now is what he'll be after.
So is Dom going to stay out ahead of Owen then? I'm not sure, you know. Well, he's through. Yeah, Owen is through. Owen is through ahead of Dom. And who's that going wide? That's a lap car going wide. And yeah, Sayer Sports right behind Dom.
Can he make the move into turn 2? He'd have to be brave on the brakes. He tries to go around the outside, but no, the hard tyre is just not yielding enough grip. He's a bit too far back on that occasion. You see Breezer in the pits for Renault.
I wonder if Joe will be regretting going onto those hard tyres at that stage, as Owen gets himself a penalty in this race right now. Meanwhile, at the front again, it's still so close between Kamababo, Jordan and Jack. Which one of them will be the first to bite and dive into the pit lane? Alistair's coming in. Is that the race leader coming in? The pit is. Alistair's coming in. And Kamababo and Jordan and Jack. They're all coming in.
They all
well.
It's a bit strange. I feel like, you know, is anyone going to win anything? It should be all line astern as they leave the pits. I mean,
well, yeah, we've got Bazza coming in as well. He could get in the way of maybe blocking somebody as they come out here, but let's see. We're going to have this as essentially a race for the pit crew now. Is Alistair going to retain his lead? He is. Well, Angel vs Death will take the actual lead of this race, but that's not genuine, of course. And then there's Kamababo, there's Jordan, and there is Jack. So, well, it's pretty much stayed the same, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's as you were. I was hoping for a bit of variance, to be honest. But they all came in at the same time, all the top 4, and all 4 of them looking to win this championship by the end of the season. I thought someone would have gone a bit different, thrown the dice.
Well, you have to say they've all played it pretty safe, haven't they? They're going to see if they can get the overtaking done on the track, which is very difficult to do. We've got a yellow flag out. It's for a driver towards the back of the field, I think. Is it
Angel versus Death?
No, it's Angel versus Death. Yeah.
From the lead at turn 5. I know that curb on the inside of that corner is treacherous, so if we do touch it, it can be lethal.
Yeah, it's Angel versus Death. He was leading the race, of course, because he hadn't made the stop, but won't be leading now, and that might be a bit of a sigh of relief for Alistair, because he won't have to spend time trying to pass the car if he was to approach him. He's back out into clear air now, and he can try and pull away. The gap is closer than what it was before the pit stops. In fact, Kamababo might just pick up some DRS into the final corner, and Jordan's still right behind. And Jack, of course, also still right behind him.
Kamababo does indeed pick up the DRS. He was just within that second range, but, you know, as I said, just within that second range, so he's not close enough on this occasion. This is a nightmare scenario for Jordan, who would have hoped that Kamababo would be without DRS so he can mount his own challenge on the McLaren driver in 2nd place.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right there. As Universität now comes into the pit lane after that moment he had earlier. Baza is in 8th place in this race. He's just pitted and he's catching up now to Joe Sayer, who is of course on the hard tyres. Feels like he's fallen back a little bit more and more. Jordan, meanwhile, look at this, he's probably as close to coming back as he's been right now. As Jack gets a penalty, Jordan already has a penalty, obviously, so at the minute, even if Camababa was to lose these positions to Jordan and Jack, he would still be in 2nd place. But well, I'm not sure if Jordan has speed, but he just can't get past the other car.
Yeah, I think Jordan does have the upper hand in terms of pace over Camababa, but if he's going to win this race, he needs to clear Camababa now and then go ahead and clear Alistair, which, I mean, you know, if he's struggling to clear one car, he's going to struggle to clear the other, because Alistair is the quicker car of the two.
Yeah, that's very true. You're absolutely right. Yeah, we're halfway through this race. He will have to make the move ASAP. Will he fancy throwing one up into turn 1? That would be way too risky. Oh, he was very late on the brakes, that would look like, as he head into turn 1 there, but he gets away with it. And Jack also just sitting back watching this all unfold. Something's got to give eventually, you get the feeling. But when?
In terms of ERS, it's looking pretty good for Camababa and Jack. It's Jordan who needs to do some management, but the problem for Jordan is that he needs to both defend and attack. He can't really afford to do a cool-off lap in terms of his energy management, because then Jack will be all over the back of him.
Yeah, it's very true. Baz are getting very close once again to Jose. There is Mr. John and Sir Tom Penguin. We're getting briefly feisty, and Sir Tom Penguin was a bit wide, which allowed Mr. John to keep the place. Alistair still leads, and it's 1.2 seconds now. So since the pit stops, he's beginning to again close or pull away. Jordan again is still so close to Camababa. It's all about that exit, isn't it, on the final corner? How confident you can feel getting on the power.
I think Jordan needs to get inventive, because if he can't get it done into turn 1, he's going to have to find other ways of doing it. He's going to have to deploy his ERS somewhere else, because so far in this race into turn 1 he's got it covered, but I think this is the closest he's ever been, and I'll go on board because the camera angles are not very helpful. Camababa will dive to the inside to defend the position, and no, Jordan not feeling brave enough on the brakes. I think perhaps a bit cautious. I think he probably could have thrown a lunge there.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. He could have gone for it there. Will he go for it into turn 2? No, he will not. Baza, meanwhile, is good side by side with Say Sports here, and he's been threatening to do this for the past couple of laps. He runs a bit wide, which gives him a penalty, and it might allow Joe Sayer to come back through. Jordan and Camababa are still very close, but what's it? Oh, if they briefly touch going into turn 2, Jordan and Baza and Say Sports, sorry. And they're still side by side going into the turn 3. This is going to be ridiculous now as we head into turn 4. Baza keeps the pursuit, gets ahead just, but wow, that could have ended so much worse.
Wow, great racing between the pair. Oh, and Camababa picks up a 3-second penalty, so it's all even between 2nd, 3rd and 4th in terms of penalties. Alistair's looking the most comfortable right now. I mean, he was anyway. Yeah. But especially now, because that gap is really 4.3 as opposed to 1.3. But still Jordan all over the back of Camababa. Can he mount a challenge into turn 1 this time? Again, ERS is only on 17% compared to Camababa's 57. So, yeah, he's going to have to find another way.
Yeah, Alistair can possibly have a bit of a breather then, because he knows now just how big the gap is. Jordan, again, still can't go through. Jack, again, will be watching, and he'll now know. I'm sure that the drivers ahead of him both now have penalties, and he will know that there's a genuine chance of getting a 2nd place here, but he will have to overtake 2 cars, and we've seen very little overtaking in this race, and it's very difficult to do here in Hungary.
As we see Camababa now only 8/10 back on Alistair. Maybe Alistair backing off just a little bit. He knows track position is key around here, so maybe he's just happy to tow the others along, because maybe he knows that Camababa is the slowest of this top 4 right now. So as long as Jordan can stay behind Camababa, it's looking good for Alistair if he can just tow Camababa along.
Yeah, that's a very good point actually. We mentioned earlier about how Jordan effectively has to use his ERS to attack and also defend from Jack, and Alistair will know that Jordan is his closest rival in the championship. It is only 1 point ahead of Camababa, that he is, but I suppose if he can cause Jordan more problems and possibly allow Jack to get through, that will then reduce Jordan's points tally and play into Alistair's hands once more.
And you get the move done now into turn 1. Jordan on Camo Babo. I think it has been Jordan's weakness this season. I think he needs to just be a little bit braver on the brakes. He's been very cautious. He's, taking the approach of being better safe than sorry, but when you're in a title fight such as this, sometimes you need to take risks.
Yeah,
yellow flag in
right.
sector 2.
I think it's a Williams has spun round.
Yep.
We've got a virtual safety car.
Oh.
We have a virtual safety car because of, I presumably, the incident with the Williams.
Yeah.
There's a bit of debris as it recovers, but this could cause a few heart attacks once we get going again here, as the Williams just goes straight on. There's a Renault as well getting involved in that, isn't there?
Yeah, we have a Breezer who is... I don't know if he can get blue flags behind a virtual safety car, but he's currently running P15. I don't know if I don't even think he's allowed to pull over at this point, because he'll
back on the way. Dom's got himself a penalty at the restart, but that's more for corner cut more than actually jumping the start. And they've all handled that relatively well, I would say. It was a pretty scary moment though, especially with the lapped car. Jack actually, look at that, he's dropped back quite a bit. That's not worked out well for him.
Yeah, I think Jordan and Camo Babo were the best in the top 4 at that restart, and we see Jordan all over the back now of Camo Babo. Can he finally get the move done into turn 1? Can he go later on the brakes? And no, he still doesn't, not even a lunge.
Wow, I'm really surprised he has not just gone for it in one of these laps. He certainly won't be able to go for it there. It's turn 2.
Alistair now only 6/10 ahead. Not the best safety car, virtual safety car restart, but hopefully he can build that pace back up in the second sector when the dirty air begins to kick in for the McLaren driver.
Yeah, it's very true. Alistair's been having a very clean race. He's only picked up a 1-1 in this race, so he is fairly comfortable, you would imagine. Obviously not right now when Camo Babo is right there, but because, of course, as we say, the penalty is to be applied. Let's just give a shout out, by the way, to Zach, who started in 10th and is running in 9th and is set to finish higher than where he qualified. Fair play.
Yeah, he's doing quite well. He's at recent times normally more accustomed to the rally stages in other TGP events, but yeah, he's accustomed to, or acclimatizing, I should say, to the racetrack here in Hungary quite well.
He has indeed. There we go. Then back to front. Camo Babo now as close to Alistair as he's ever been, and Alistair is actually very low now, also on ERS. Interestingly.
Yeah, Camo Babo with the upper hand once again.
It is. Yeah, Jack is slowly beginning to close in again, but not enough. So the top 3 all very close together. They've got Dom also very close to Owen for 5th place. Owen really not having a good race in terms of staying within the top 3 in the championship here. He will be hoping, praying for some sort of instance at the front with these 3.
And look at this, look how close it is now, just 2/10 heading into the chicane. Jordan all over the back of Camo Babo, as it has been for a good few laps now. The top 3 right now are the ones who are all over each other. Jack Pearson has just fallen back a little bit since that virtual safety car restart.
Yeah, Jordan will be dreaming of Husky Chocolate tonight, I think, because he has been stuck behind that rear wing of the McLaren for, well, pretty much the entire race here. Let's see if he can eventually get it done. We have a yellow flag. Is that because of a Renault?
I believe, yeah, I think Breezer had a moment in the second sector. Green flag conditions again.
So here we go then. Jordan is very close to Camo Babo. Camo Babo isn't so close to Alistair now, and again, is Jordan going to fancy having a go? No, he still decides not to do so.
There's
3 laps to go.
This really should be Jordan's opportunity to save his ERS and not spend it. He really needs to just, not use it, maybe for like the next lap or 2, just to mount a challenge.
Yeah.
He's even on ERS, he's looking good out of that final corner. It's just his lack of energy deployment is letting him down.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, the gap to Jack is 1.4 seconds, so a lap without using ERS would probably, it wouldn't cost him massively, would it? I doubt. So yeah, that may well be the way to go about it at the minute for Jordan, if he wants to then go for it with the past couple of laps. Over the last couple of laps in this race, he knows, of course, that Camo Babo has the penalty, so it is a genuine on-track position that he's fighting for. Let's see if he's plugged into Roy's commentary and let's see if he follows Roy's advice.
Sadly, at the moment, I don't think it is the case. It's still sub 20% compared to Camobabo on 38, 36. Well, around that area, changes all the time with the brakes. But Camobabo now looking very close to Alistair.
He is. Is Camobabo going to go for it then? Once again, Alistair very low on DRS, and Alistair is feeling the need to defend, but he just stays ahead. And if Camobabo can get a good exit though out of this turn 1, he might be able to go for it. He's thinking about it, but that would be a crazy one to attempt it there from that position. And it stays as you were with the top 3. But Alistair, for the first time in 16 laps, really felt there for a moment, didn't he, that he had to start defending.
Yeah, he just needs... Oh, Jack Pearson picks up another 3-second penalty. That's really taking him out of the podium fight now. And yeah, Alistair looking under pressure. He needs to just not push too much, because if he pushes too much, he can find himself on a level playing field in terms of the penalties. So far, he does have an advantage over the others, due to having a lack of penalties. 0 seconds for Alistair, 3 for both Camobabo and Jordan, and 6 for Jack Pearson.
Yeah, but there's 13 seconds is the gap to Owen in 5th place, so Jack should still, you would imagine, be keeping hold of 4th place. I think Owen has got a penalty as well, hasn't he? Esparza is closing up on Dom now, actually, as well. As I think the Renault's gone off again. Well, here we are then. Once again, deja vu here, as Jordan is once again right up behind Camobabo, and once again Alistair's feeling the need to defend. And will Jordan think about it? No, still decides not to go for it. Camobabo was very close there as well. 2 laps to go, and we get to a stage now where it's not just the ERS you've got to start worrying about, it's the fuel as well, of course.
Yeah, fuel where, people, really turn 1 is the best overtaking spot, so all the fuel will be dumped through there. You do have the luxury of being able to save it in the middle sector, so perhaps the drivers at the front have been doing that, as Camobabo is only 3 seconds behind. Sorry, 3 seconds, sorry, 3/10 of a second behind. Heading into the chicane now, half a second. It's the closest they've ever been, but we've yet to see a significant challenge due to the nature of racing at the Hungaro ring.
Might have got a bit distracting there as well for the top players. They were getting through that lap traffic, of course. They do ghost, but it can get a bit distracting when you're in the heat of the battle as we approach this final lap, and it will surely be really the last chance really to make a move, as Jordan was so late on the brakes there to pull to the corner. But here we go then. What's he going to do on the exit? We've mentioned about how good he is from that final corner. He's got, well, again, not enough overtake, I don't think, compared to Camobabo, as they all deploy it. Alistair also once again slightly moves over to try and defend, but he will keep the lead. Camobabo will keep second, and Jordan will keep third, and Jack Pearson has closed right back in again now, despite the penalties, in 4th place. And now, Roy, I think for any of these positions to change, it's going to take pretty much a crazy, unconventional kind of move, isn't it?
Yeah, you're going to have to be inventive with your moves. You're going to have to find somewhere that you wouldn't normally overtake. You saw Jordan deep into the penultimate corner. He needs to go deep into turn 1 if he's going to get past Camobabo. So,
yes, indeed.
Alistair still leads, still penalty free on the last lap of the race, and really, I suppose turn 12 is your only even half chance of getting past somebody, but Jordan is all over the back. Is this the time where he decides to be brave? They're level playing field in terms of their penalties, but no, he does not decide to go down the inside. I mean, wisely, I think it would have resulted in a collision anyway, but yeah, I think perhaps wasted opportunity for Jordan. But here we have Alistair, the young Scotsman, about to take the win here at the Hungaro ring. He crosses the line. Alistair Bain wins in Hungary in TGP2 to extend his championship lead over Camobabo, who finishes in 2nd place, with Jordan completing the podium with Jack Pearson in 4th.
So they're all very close together, but he just couldn't make any overtakes in the end. Owen's going to come home in 5th place. Dom and then Baz. We're going to have to see how this shakes out here with the penalty. Is Dom 6th, Baz 7th. Joe is promoted up into 7th place.
And we see Zach across the line. Very solid debut. Not the easiest track to make your debut at. Oh, he picks up a penalty on the final corner. I believe that's his first one of the race.
I think it was his first one, yeah.
But it shouldn't be too much of an issue, as he had a comfortable gap to Neljak in the Racing Point, who comes home P10 on the road. Does it stay that way? Blair Grill's right behind, and yes, it does stay that way. Angel versus Death in the Williams. Crosses the line P12. Stays P12. Mr. John having penalties in the race. Sir Tom Penguin P13, he'll be happy with that, he's in the points. And actually, with P13, he's jumped Mr. John with that. Indecisive,
yes.
On he's taken too much grass.
He's doing some donuts for the crowds as he crosses the line.
I think he's just clipped the grass on the outside into the final corner, and it's sent the car spinning around. Not what he needs, but it is the final corner of the final lap, and, well, he won't lose any positions with that. With the Red Bull Kim 15, oh sorry, 16th. People might get a penalty post-race. Driver of the day, Merrick Wembley.
Owen gets driver of the day then. So it was a race that, well, they were very close at the front, but nobody felt brave enough in this very close championship. Nobody felt brave enough to try and stick one at the inside for a move. And to be honest, ultimately, I don't entirely blame them. You can understand it. You do not want to cause an incident and take such a big blow to your championship fight when it's so close, do you, Roy?
Yeah, you need to balance caution with risk. Although, again, I think Jordan might be kicking himself. I think there were some occasions where he was close enough to at least mount a challenge, but again, it's sometimes not worth the risk. Maybe he'll kick himself at the end of the season. Maybe he'll, be very thankful that he was cautious and didn't risk anything. Who knows? Because the championship has been changing all the time, and prior to this race, the top four have never been separated by more than 17 points in the standings.
Indeed. And right now, well, let's just run through the results before we give you the championship standings. Alistair wins, of course, as we've seen in first place. Cameron Babbo in second, Jordan just behind in third, Jack in fourth, Owen then quite a fair way back in fifth place. Dom was in sixth, we got Say Sports in seventh, Bazza in 8th, Zach was 9th. Personally, he's my driver of the day. Neljak getting 10th, Blake Grills in 11th, Angel versus Death 12th, sits on Penguin 13th, Mr. John in 14th, Indecisive 15th, and Red Bull Kim and Breezer were both lapped in this race.
Yeah, not the best day in the office or on the track for the drivers at the end, but well, there's always Spa, which is coming up right after this.
It is indeed. Let's give you the championship standings then. And that win for Alistair has helped to obviously extend his lead even further. He's now at 209 points, I believe, in this championship. Camo Babo is now on 194. Camo Babo goes into second place because it was only 1 point separating him and Jordan, of course. And Camo Babo will jump into second as he finished ahead on 194. Then we've got Jordan on 192, and Owen, who falls back further, on 177, and Jack, outsider, on 142. So 15 points then now separating Alistair and Cameron Babbo at the top.
Yeah, Alistair extending his championship lead. I have heard that he is very comfortable with the tracks that are in the middle portion of the calendar. So who knows, the pendulum could swing yet again, but Alistair, he's got the momentum right now, so hopefully he can continue it.
Indeed, just having a look at your comments of this race. We've got Mike Noon, who of course wasn't racing tonight. He's been watching the stream though, and he's been suggesting the drivers take each other out, which is would be totally against the rules, but he certainly seemed to enjoy Jack getting a penalty.
It is not the views of the TGP series. It is all tongue-in-cheek, of course. We have Mike Noon and Demi wishing Jordan good luck tonight in these races, so Jordan has some fans watching at home. We have James saying, well, he's disappointed that Jordan hasn't been making the moves into the braking zones.
I think that's how we all feel with that analogy there that he's put, which we don't read, but yes.
Yes, some things better kept off the air.
Indeed. And we've got also Aidan, who was gone into conspiracy mode here about the TV mode that we mentioned earlier, and he's I think finding it interesting about his sudden pace advantage that he's got since that switch to game mode on his TV. So Alistair stirring some conspiracies up there, which I'm sure will get people talking.
Well, who knows? Even if it is just a placebo effect, I suppose you could argue a placebo effect is still real because it still makes you believe you can do things or that you feel better. So, if he feels he's got more confidence in the car, then who's to complain?
So who's going to have the most confidence then around the baddest track of them all? Is that what the kids say? That's not what the kids say, is it?
I wouldn't say so, but alas, not the worst analogy.
Yeah, this is serious now. This is Spa, and really a track where anything could happen. It could really rain at any time. It does look quite dark, doesn't it? And we've got drivers coming out the pit lane straight away, although that's not no different really to any other qualifying session. But I wonder if there might be some rain in the air.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the weather... Oh, as we see Neljak have a moment heading up into Radion, almost losing the back end of the car, managed to correct it before the top of the hill.
It's only the outlap. And immediately they're starting to shake about a little bit, but presumably Neljak will be the first driver to set a lap, as long as he doesn't go and drop it. And once we do get a lap, back by popular demand, I think we're going to get a lap run through.
May have a look at that with our previous race winner. These could be banker laps. Rain could be on its way. As we see Neljak spin a poo on his outlap.
Well, what is Neljak doing? It's crazy stuff there. He's the first guy out on track, of course, so maybe it's a bit slippery on track.
And I am hearing from the Mercedes team that rain is on its way in 10 to 15 minutes.
Well,
which is why the drivers are all rushing out there. Well, the breeze are still in the pit.
Especially on a lap as long as Spa as well, of course. Do need to get a lap in.
Yeah, time
if rain is on its way.
Time is limited around a track as long as this.
Yeah, but if it was a normal... and... well, this is horrific for Owen's championship. You can see it there in the bottom of your screen. Owen has been given a 5-place penalty. I have no idea why. It says a collision with Red Bull Kim. But wow, he will be fuming with that one.
That is a disaster for Owen. He's picked up heavy wing damage, so even if it does rain, he's better off pitting. It is an absolute disaster in a session like this. He needs to get that wing replaced and needs to get an outlap done. If he's got 10 to 15 minutes, then he does have enough time. But yeah, that's a curious one. Sadly, you can't get a 5-place penalty removed because it's an in-game issue. And we see Alistair around the final corner. Take a wide line, get a good exit. It is indeed. He's got DRS open down the pit straight. He's going to pick a braking point for turn 1 because the exit is crucial. Does he pick a nice apex? Yes, he does. He clips the curb. Doesn't use too much of the exit curb because that will kill your momentum as he heads down the hill now into Eau Rouge and Radion. Careful not to step the back end out, and don't also run over the curb because you will invalidate your lap, and he's done that very nicely. DRS open now down the Kemmel straight through the kink. He's got an AlphaTauri ahead, might give him a little bit of a slipstream, give him a little bit of a boost. Into Lecom now, pick your braking zone, sacrifice the speed in the first corner, open up the second one, and again, similar story, you want to open up this third one on the run down to the Russell corner. And you want to, well, there's many different lines you can take. You can do what Alistair does, run wide and then swoop back in to get some speed. The no-name corner is, well, it's almost like it's his official name now. As we head into Pouon, I believe almost flat out, but not quite. You don't want to clip that inside curve because that will spin the car 99% of the time. Into the Fania chicane, again, sacrifice the first corner speed so you can open up the second one, because the exit here is more important than the first part of the corner. Stavilo, and now into Paul Frere curve, flat out, foot to the floor, all the way up to the bus stop chicane. We'll be hoping that he's managed his ERS well, and he heads into the Blanchimont corner, which is easy flat nowadays. It's the impressive nature of these F1 cars. Takes a little bit of exit curb. Now pick your braking point. It's crucial here. And again, as with all chicanes, sacrifice speed at the start to open up the exit. Foot to the floor, DRS open and across the line to set a 1:42.6 to take provisional pole in the Renault.
That's provisional pole by 8/10 as well, and then a track around. When you're going around Spa, that is a big gap, isn't it, to have on the rest of the field. Got Baza, who went out on mediums for that first run, in 6th place on a 1:45.1. I have to say though, if rain's on its way, I'm not really sure why you go on mediums unless you're so confident that you can get another lap in.
Yeah, it's a very strange one. I mean, you don't really have the time to be, setting banker laps on medium tyres.
Got Jordan in the pits as well, so I wonder if he invalidated his lap first time round as well, which could be absolutely vital for this championship. You mentioned the no-name corner, Roy, and I believe I'm right in saying that on this particular game it can be very strict with the corner cut on at that specific corner. Literally, I think sometimes even just with 2 wheels on the curb you can get a corner cut there, so that could catch some of the drivers out.
Yeah, I think this whole track in general is particularly strict on its track limit regulations. You need to be very neat and tidy through these corners, because if it's almost like if you look at the line, it's a penalty or an invalidation. So yeah, you need to be very careful and stay within the boundaries that the game has set. And yeah, the no-name corner is a major culprit of invalidations that are particularly harsh.
So Jordan gets back out then onto the track on his outlap, and he'll be hoping that the rain stays off for just a few more minutes. Owen, meanwhile, is on a lap right now. He's got this penalty, of course, but he will, the best he can hope for is 6th place now, of course, and he will really be possibly even more determined now to get a high position, but that may force you into making some sort of error. But this looks like a fairly decent lap. His has gone perfectly second to as well. We'll see where this can put him.
Telemetry not always the most accurate. Sometimes the system can glitch and display false purple sectors, but Owen is quick, this is one of his favourite circuits on the calendar, so he will be looking for a good result. Perhaps he can qualify on the front row for the first time, and I think this is one of the best candidates for Owen to do it.
I mean, if let's say he crossed the line,
pole?
And he does go on pole by very close. There's 14 thousandths in it. But, I mean, it would be even more annoyed only for this to be the track that he gets the penalty as well, if he does get the pole position.
Oh, of course.
But would you say that would end the start then, Roy, if he gets on the front row here, even though he'll get to the penalty?
Yeah, I think it's always about your starting position as opposed to where you qualified. So, there is a difference between first fastest in qualifying and pole position. So, as long as you have a penalty,
I'm not sure.
Officially.
Not sure if that would end the start. Yeah, but I didn't think Michael Schumacher got given an extra pole for Monaco, did he, in 2012?
No, that's what I mean. There is a difference between.
Yeah, so it wouldn't necessarily end the start then, would it? If he was to, it would end the. No, it would not end the start.
Well, okay. Well, one stat that we can all agree on is that it would end the streak of him finishing the session in the top 2 fastest positions. Whether we want to call it a front row or not is perhaps another matter that we can pick up in a different at a different time.
Indeed. Look at Jordan here then. He started his lap now, and he was a 10th off Owen in the first sector, I believe, because I noted down Owen's first sector time. We'll see if he can improve further. Of course, Owen has the penalty anyway as he heads here. Look at that, this looks so amazing heading towards the final chicane now. Of course, Giovinazzi had that massive accident just a few weeks ago. No such incident for Jordan. This looks very clean. Look at this, looks like a great lap so far.
Allegedly purple in the second sector, although I think there has been an update for the game out, so I believe these could very well be accurate sectors. It was accurate for Owen, who of course is our provisional pole sitter, but of course carries that 5-place penalty. We see now Jordan heading into the bus stop. It's all been valid so far. He's already derated before the braking zone in the bus stop. He's kept it valid just about. He's using a lot of curb. DRS open and across the line to go. P2, and look how close. The top three. 14 thousandths of a second.
Amazing. Around a 1 minute 42 second lap. Incredible. So Jordan is on a net pole position, of course, because of Owen's penalty. But wow, just 5,000 separating the top two, 14 separating the top three. Amazing stuff with 8 minutes to go. It's still no rain, and it is allowing Alistair to go again then for a second lap. And he hasn't got much time to find.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like Hungary all over again. There's not much time for him to actually, need to improve on, but he'll be, it's oh so crucial in these dying minutes of the session. Well, I say dying minutes of the session, that's before the rain comes, of course, so ordinarily they'll be fine, but he's slightly down after the first sector as he approaches, I believe it's called Brussels. Horrible off-camber corner, requires a lot of patience now into no-name corner. Does he keep it within the boundaries? Yes, he does, just about. Into Puan. Can he carry the speed he needs? He's not touched the curbs. Very nicely done. Into the Fania chicane.
Sorry, Roy, just having a look at Jack as well. He's also on a lap at the minute as well. He's a bit far off away from Alistair though. Here we go then. What can he do as he crosses to the 7 second split? Does no. Oh, he's purple, and he's 4 tenths up. He's 4 tenths up here. This is looking solid for Alistair.
And this is crucial. This could very well be the final laps of the session. If this rain, I mean, honestly, the sky's cleared up since the beginning of the session. So, I mean, it seems the weather radar at Spa is often quite difficult to actually predict here in the Ardennes.
And it looks like
Forest.
Alistair's going to have a bit of energy as well as he comes out the final corner, which Jordan did not have a moment to go. Crosses the line. Well, 142.15 tenths ahead of Owen in second place, who's also on an out lap. And well, it's looking good for Alistair. Oh!
What can Jack do? He goes P2.
Oh, good lap by Jack then.
Jack joined the 42.6 club.
Yes, that's very true. Yeah, it's so close once again. The 42.6 bumps Owen into third place, and of course, if it would stay like that, it would end our argument about the front row for Owen as well. But Owen will want that argument to continue because he is about to start another lap here. And again, as you say, Roy, we're still not seeing any sign of rain, so we might go the full distance in this quali session.
Yeah, quite possibly. Sometimes you can just about get away with it. I think you still, caution is the better part of valor. You want to be out there in time to set laps, perhaps earlier than you'd want to, just in case you get caught up by the weather, of course.
Yeah, very, very true. Here we go then. On the camel straight, he's going to get ready to get the brakes into the car. I wonder if he might get a bit of a distant tow there from, I think it's a Williams ahead. It's looking good for there. He's fractionally up on his time, not an Alistair's time though. Lovely look at the speed through Malmedy. It's just absolutely glorious to watch. But when will the dirty air begin to affect him here? Because he's coming around now into no name. He's got indecisive right there. He's careful not to cut the corner. He doesn't do so. Into Puan then, and the car's still just ahead. Oh, it's very close on the curve, but it's still looking good into the Fania chicane. And well, he might just get this tow for the entire lap.
Hopefully he's not getting too held up in the Fania chicane and through Stavolo and Paul Frere. It should pay dividends at the end. I don't know if the Williams is on a lap, and that's messy. But Owen is through, and I don't think he's up on his time.
I think he would have wished to have possibly just been a second behind there, so he would have had a nice bit of a tow down here as he heads into the Blanchimont. Instead, he's given the Williams the tow here as he gets prepared to slam on the brakes into the bus stop chicane. So, despite that minor moment with the Williams, let's see if he can improve his lap time. Let's see if he can get back onto the front row. He crosses the line. No, he's a 10th off. You have to say that probably may very well have cost him.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be too happy with the Williams driver. Still stays in P3, which will become P8 at the end of the session, or rather at the start of the race. And we see Jordan on another lap.
Yeah, we've got the majority of the drivers now are all out on their out laps or just starting the final lap. So one more run in this session, and the rain has not turned up. Crucially though, Alistair and Jack are not out on the track. They might still get out on the track as long as it doesn't rain though. Let's see what Jordan's first sector is going to be. Oh, it's a 29.999. And he's purple in sector 1. Is he approaching a car? He is approaching a car, and hopefully that Williams get out of the way. And it's, I think that's good, isn't it?
He's fine. Just about. They can take a wide line into that corner, so it's not the end of the world, and he keeps it within the track limits at no name. Again, Puan, crucial to carry all the speed you possibly can. Not run too wide, but also not clip the inside curb. Don't want to go spinning, but you also don't want to go invalidating your lap. And through the final chicane, he's got Owen ahead, who moves nicely out of the way.
Yeah, I think Owen wants to get out the way there to prevent giving him any sores at all.
To prevent himself getting any further penalties, of course. He has that one that you know, the stewards will have to look at afterwards.
But he is down though. He's 2 tenths down, Jordan. I think he had a bit of a. He might have got a bit distracted by Owen as he was heading into the first part of the final chicane. He did seem to go a bit wide through there, so it's going to have to be some sort of mental final few corners here. Look at the amount of energy he's got left though. He's got a lot of energy to deploy.
He's been overly conservative.
Yeah, probably way too much. 1.2 seconds off. I wonder if he just backed off early there on that lap. I think he might possibly be going again here right now.
Well, he might be. He's got over 70% management left, and as long as he doesn't derate, he should be fine. Owen retires from the session, as does Indecisive Mackie.
And Kamababo in 5th place, who's had a fairly quiet quali session, has invalidated. So he's second in the championship. He will start no higher than 5th. And Jordan's up. Jordan is up again. He was 4,000 slower than what he was on the previous lap though in the first sector. Is that Renault going to get out of the way?
I think the Renault might be on a lap himself, and if he is on a lap then he has no obligation to move out of the way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that Renault is indeed on a lap, and this is going to get a bit nasty.
Yeah, it's like Monza racing and Jordan backs out of it, and that is the end of his qualifying session. And the rain, well, is the rain arriving now? It's gone very dark again.
Well, it's all falling into Alistair's hands, isn't it? Like, they've got Owen getting penalties, Kamababo invalidating, Jordan getting cars in the way. It is playing beautifully into Alistair's hands here. Jack is just behind him though. Jack will be behind him setting this lap time, and he's going to get a big toe off his teammate. This is surely being planned. Yeah. This is surely being planned.
And I believe it was the other way around on the previous run. So the Mercedes playing the team game here. Can Jack improve? Although the only place he can improve to is pole position, but he needs to find nearly half a second in order to do that.
And of course, there's a great possibility of us to going even quicker here as well as the flies through on. It has now suddenly got very dark, but there is no sign of the rain just yet. Just watching Blair Grills very quickly around the final corner here. I wonder if he can get ahead of his teammate.
He does.
He does get ahead of his teammate. Wow.
P5. Very solid effort from Blair Grills.
Sixth place. Jack Pearson's gone off. Big crash for the second part of the final chicane with Jack Pearson, and that's it. It's game over for him. And Alistair's invalidated.
It's beginning to rain. Yeah, the rain is coming down now. The track grip is just not what it used to be. I'd be very surprised if we see any change in the order so far. Or
Joe Sayer.
To go. Joe Sayer.
No. 10th off. Got Nell Jack coming up. Nell Jack coming around the final corner here to complete his lap time. He's on a 1:45. He might sneak an improvement here, you know. He does. He moves to 1:12.3, but it's not enough. He's very close to Dom in 8th place. But I tell you what, Blair Grills would have loved that.
Yeah, very impressive from the McLaren driver. McLaren occupying the 3rd row of the grid, although perhaps not in the order you'd expect, and not the most convenient scenario for Kamababo, although Mark Wembley does have that 5-place penalty, so he will drop down to P8 as it stands.
Yeah, that's very true.
But Kamababo
had another lap and improved. Wow.
I'm very surprised. With the rain, I suppose the rain might not be really affecting the circuit. The AI crash into each other. We'll gloss over that. Blair Grills returning now on his in-lap.
Yeah, so that moves Kamababo into 5th. Although that requires them will then post to 4th, and as effectively now put him on the dirty side of the grid.
but could pay dividends on the Kemmel straight. The slipstream is crucial. It's not always the best place to start in pole position.
Yeah.
So Alistair needs to get a good run.
Very good point. Very good point indeed. Just having a look here, and we're still getting some comments in about the TV mode debacle. But anyway, Alistair is on pole with a 142.1. Jack is second, nearly 5 tenths behind on a 42.6. We've got Owen in third, but he will get the penalty. Jordan is fourth, coming back with fifth. Blake Rose sixth, Say Sport seventh, Dom is eighth. That's where Owen will start this race. Nell Jack ninth, Baz 10th, Sir Tom Penguin 11th, Mr. John 12th, Angel West Death is 13th. He also has a penalty. Indecisive, Breezer, and then Red Bull Kim did not get to time it. That is a very interesting grid for this race, then, I have to say.
Yeah, I think Owen will be very disappointed with that. His equal best qualifying session result, which would have equalled his best start, but alas, P8 for Owen, but he should be looking good in the race.
Yep, I have to say, when I got driver of the day in Hungary, didn't you? Considering how quick he seems to be around here, he could get driver of the day here in Spa.
Well, that'll be I suppose, a consolidatory prize. I think he'll be looking for a podium, which, I think he might have been thinking could have been a win had he started in his P3 spot, which he will feel he rightfully earned. As we count down to the session, just over 20 seconds left to go.
Really looking forward to this. Such a tight turn one, of course, isn't it? It's probably arguably, I would say, the toughest first corner of the season, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this plays out, Roy.
Yeah, I agree. Very tight turn one, heavy braking zone, different speeds heading into it. So let's see how it all pans out. And we wait for the grid, wait for the lights. 2, 3, 4, 5 lights on, and we're away at Spa-Francorchamps. And Alistair, does he keep the lead? I believe he does. The AWS strategy is blocking my view, but Jack Pearson round the outside, can he take the lead? I believe they're side by side heading into Eau Rouge, and Jack just peels in behind. He's looking for that toe down the Kemmel Straight. Jack will be looking to take the lead at the end of the first sector and hopefully keep it as well. Taking a lot of curb, and Jack is in a perfect position now to take the lead of the race, to go on board if we're looking backwards. And they're side by side, but I think Alistair will just about hang on to this position, and yes he does. The Renault driver stays in first place with Jordan in third place and Camo Babo fourth. Mayor Quenby has made his way up to P. Just as I say that, I'm not quite sure what happened there.
I'm not sure what happened, but I tell you what, well, it turned out to be an absolutely terrible start for both the Racing Points and both the Williams. Nell Jack and the two Williams both lost it, all three of them lost it going into Eau Rouge, and of course we've now just seen Owen lose it as well, but that so nearly worked for Jack Pearson, didn't it?
Yeah, it was tantalisingly close for the Mercedes driver, but he's just had to slot back in behind, but he's within half a second of the Renault driver, so he will be looking down the run into the bus stop chicane to take this lead back. Or rather, not take it back, but take it from the young Scotsman in first place. Jordan within a second of Jack, but it's all about Jack versus Alistair right now, because he is right in the slipstream of the Renault driver, as we see more pit strategies from Amazon. Thank you very much for that.
Well, speaking of pit strategies, they've all started on the soft tyre as well for this race, which is the first time this season I've seen them all do that, as they come to start this second lap. And we've got a car off, and we've got indecisive out, we've got a safety car, and they've all just passed the pits, the front guys, and Dom has pitted, Owen's pitted, Red Bull Kim's pitted, Neljack pitted, the brakes are pitting out the queue, and Owen's got a penalty now as well. 5-second penalty.
Disaster for the Racing Point driver, and I think his title hopes are looking slimmer and slimmer as this race goes on. He'll have to pit again if he wants to erase that 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, because you can serve it under the safety car, but he's dropped to the back of the grid, and it's an absolute disaster for the Racing Point driver.
Red Bull Kim has jumped Dom. I'm pretty sure Red Bull Kim was behind Dom and into the pit lane. I'm pretty sure. Oh my goodness me, as Red Bull Kim nearly decides to go and have an accident with the safety car there, but luckily, thankfully avoids it. So safety car then. Dom pit, Dom managed to dive into the pit lane. No, managed to dive into the pit lane before they crossed the start-finish line. But because they've gone past the safety car, it probably shouldn't affect them, should it? Do you think, Roy?
No, I think everyone's all good, because even the safety car, it's letting everybody through because it did not pick up the leader. So this is no issue at all for
they managed to,
the drivers at the front.
Tell you what, it could be an issue for Blair Gills though, because he is surely going to pit here, and he will have to queue, and he's had such a great qualifying, and it looks like he may well be in a bit of trouble once they arrive at this pit lane. That's assuming they'll pit, of course. No guarantee they will. We've seen some strange strategies in this season so far. Let's look to see what they do here. Surely they'd all come in though at this stage.
Yeah, and
you've got to come in, haven't you, Roy?
Yeah, you've got to come in, and I think it's even the same for Owen. I think he has to come in and send himself to the back of the grid with that penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which is just going from bad to worse.
And look, I thought Blue Grills there was trying to. He's trying to do a Lando Norris there and deliberately trying to slow down a little bit further. But I think he will have to take the hit anyway. Breezer, meanwhile, stayed out. Breezer stayed out as he runs wide as well. He's going to lead this race.
It's very interesting. It's a Renault 1-2, not the order you'd expect, but it's Breezer going different to the rest of the field by staying out. Well, let's have a look at the Renault driver. He started on the soft, so this is I have to say it's quite a bizarre strategy from the Renault driver. Maybe he didn't want to pit and double stack, but I think he was out of range for a double stack.
Yeah.
So Breezer now leads this race, and I don't think many would have bet on that.
No, and Owen did not come in. The second time round, so he's choosing to take that 5 seconds at the end of the race. Then we would imagine.
Yeah, that is a strange decision. I'm not quite sure why Mr. John is keeping such a large gap to the car in front. I believe he's allowed to pick up the pace a little bit. He's on the hard tyres. Let's have a look at what tyres everyone has actually gone on to. So people who haven't made a stop, well, it's literally just Breezer. And then the tyre, everyone's on mediums apart from Breezer at the front on his soft tyres, and Mr. John in 9th on the hard, playing it quite conservatively. I don't think tyre wear is really that much of a factor around here. So
I don't know what Mr. John's doing here. I've got to say, I'm really not sure what he's doing.
Yeah,
it's getting himself a lot of penalties, and it's getting a bit silly.
Yeah, I think he needs to really close up on the pack, headed by the 2 Renault drivers. See the position change. Well, Breezer currently up P13, but of course that will change as Mr. John picks up another penalty again.
More penalties than an England-Germany semi-final.
To be honest with you, Daniel, I don't quite get the reference, but I'm sure it was a good one.
Well, and the safety car's in this lap. This car's in this lap. This does not usually do one more.
Well, the efficient Belgian marshals, of course, aided by a long track.
Yeah.
So plenty of time to pick up, and Breezer he's not really backing the pack up here.
I'm interested to see how Breezer handles this.
He's not the most experienced driver.
It's the first safety car restart in the post-Tuscan Grand Prix world in TGP2.
I don't think we're getting any such.
The safety car in.
Followed him in. Okay, well,
Alistair might be supposed to relieved in the end because he will lead away as they get going again. As well, Breezer followed the safety car into the pits, causing a slightly bizarre restart to this race run.
Yeah, I think Iñaki Roveda has moved to the Renault squad. He's now moved to the back of the field, but Jack Pearson is now all over the back of Alistair. Can he do on lap 4 what he failed to do on lap 1? He's on the outside yet again. I just don't think he has the speed. Alistair defends that inside line.
Is he going to try and go around the outside? No, he doesn't. Cameron Babbo and Sainz Sport are very close together, and Cameron Babbo stays ahead. What have you seen, Roy?
I'm just seeing the same as you. Merrick Quenby is up to 8th place, however.
He is indeed. Yeah, we've got Mr. John 7th. I think Blake feels like the full restart. Dom in 10th as well. And Breezer, of course, as we know, is at the very back after pitting at that moment, as we've all just seen as they head into Pouon then. Jack Pearson, well, he runs very wide at Pouon, but he's had 2 chances to make that move now down into Le Combe, and both times he just fell short.
You see in the comment section we have Jean-Luc Taylor, former 2-time TGP1 champion and co-commentator for this season's TGP2 series, saying that Breezer may have had too many Bacardis. Of course, referencing the Bacardi Breezer, a reminder that other Alka-Pops are available. As we see Jordan all over the back of Jack Pearson now for P2, and well, the tables have turned at this moment in time. I think there's a yellow flag in the background. I think Kim may have gone a bit deep into the gravel trap, but we see Jordan all over the back now. I don't think Jack's going to be very happy with this. I think Jack may have got a bit greedy at the start of the last lap just to try and mount a challenge on Alistair, who does of course set the fastest lap.
I mean, it's really, this is just, Jordan has got to try and get past here. He cannot, I think we're at a stage now where he cannot afford to be too conservative as he was in Hungary in terms of trying to go for moves, because if Alistair wins another race here, he'll just further extend his lead, and Jordan is using his ERS Rio Rouge, which is a massive, hugely risky thing to do, but it might work for him. He's going to be alongside going down the Camel Straight, and he's going to have the inside line. Is Jack going to try and stick it round and keep the position, or is Jordan going to slot into the second, and he is fairly comfortably?
Yeah, I think Jack just forfeiting the position. He realises the outside line isn't going to work. We saw drama in the F2 races regarding that corner. Penalties dished out post-race for, well, I think fairly understandable reasons, and Alistair now is looking to build a gap, but now Jordan is relinquishing this. Unlike Hungary, track position not so key around here. It's one of the most overtake friendly tracks of the calendar, if not the most.
Well, wouldn't it be fantastic if we got a proper real battle here then for the win between Alistair and Jordan? See if he can have the pace Alistair had was fantastic in qualifying. Can he sustain this race lead though? Jordan will have DRS next lap as well, I believe, will he not? Or to go for it.
He's just outside at the moment, which is not what he needs. 1.0 now, 1.1. His ERS, it's on 30% compared to Alistair's 63, so Alistair's comfortable out in front. He's just managing his pace, not using any unnecessary energy.
And into the bus stop chicane then. Joe Sagan running in a very strong 5th place right now, although he is a bit short on energy. Sir Tom Penguin also very short on energy. Might allow Neljak to sneak through here into 11th place. He runs very wide. That will surely be 11 for him.
Sir Tom Penguin now running in P12. Solid race for the Alfa Romeo drivers. Alistair has a comfortable lead, 1.2 seconds now, 1.3. He's just stretching that out. And Sir Tom Penguin, I believe, has had an incident at turn 1. I believe he's got going. Yeah, no safety car or virtual safety car necessary. And well, we're a little bit spaced out. Dom Smith is quite close to the back of Blair Grills, as is Blair Grills to the back of Mr. John, as Jack Pearson picks up a 3-second time penalty. I think that has been his weakness, keeping it within the lines.
Has indeed, yeah. You mentioned that Williams going off nearly caused an incident as he was rejoining the track at Eau Rouge, but there was no damage in the end, and we're still under green flag conditions here then. And Williams come off again. Alistair pulling away. Come on, Jordan. Give us a race, as Alan Rumble said at this very track a few weeks ago.
Oh, and
Jack Pearson! Big moments, he's been in the middle of the track, and he's going to shed positions.
Oh, he needs to be careful.
Well.
Oh, okay, well, thankfully still a ghost, but he's playing with fire there. Will he hold up his teammate?
Almost runs his teammate there.
I think Dom was wary of it. Dom was quite generous, but so was Jack, and I think they both just held each other up in that moment. Will Jack try to get past immediately? I'm not quite sure he will. They're side by side, and Dom lets his quicker teammate through, and hopefully Jack can repay the favour and hold us up.
Sorry, Roy Owen there was very close there to Josiah for 4th place. I think Owen really wants to get that move done. Still have that penalty as well, of course, isn't he, at the end of the race? But dramatic spin there for Jack Pearson.
This is the closest battle now on track. Owen with that penalty, I believe, will drop to what is a net P7, which, I mean, it's not what he's looking for. How much positions can he gain in this race? I don't think he'll be able to get that 5-second penalty removed. It's pretty much a slam dunk. If you overspeed in the pit lane, there's a certain line you have to slow down before, and by the looks of things, he hasn't done that. stays behind Sayer Sports in the fight for P4. Joe running very well.
Yeah, well, he's really shedding his ERS, I've got to say, Jose, at this moment in time. But, well, he's staying there, staying in 4th place, and what a result it would be for him if he can keep it.
Yeah, I think he'd be very pleased with that effort. And you see Baza in 6th, not too bad for him. Mr. John, we know, has penalties. Blair Grills now all over the back of the AlphaTauri driver as Jack Pearson is, well, practically pushing Blair Grills through the corner. The Mercedes driver with so much more pace at this moment in time.
Well, there's effectively a false position, isn't it? Jack's running in now because of that spin. Oh, wow, it's close there. Who won?
As Blair Grills got wing damage, I think he might. Does Jack go down the inside? He tried it. He tried to do it down at the Fania chicane. I think, yeah, Blair Grills has damage on the front left. And this pace will feel absolutely glacial. Oh, he's made pass.
It's allowed Jack Pearson through. In fact, you know what? It might allow Don through as well. I think it might very well allow Don through to go through as well into 9th place. Blair Grills is going to stick it around the outside of the launch stream, but no.
You see Jack now all over the back of Mr. John. Does he go for the move here? No. Sometimes it's not the wisest thing to do because he's got that huge camel straight where the toe is very, very powerful. You've got a long straight, long DRS on, and it's uphill for good measure. Will he try it into turn 1? No, he doesn't. He stays it well out of it.
So let's see if Owen then can finally get past Jose then. If Jose's got 5% ERS here as he deploys it now. Owen will have 30% and a nice push of DRS as well to power their family saloon. As here we go. Round the outside in Silicon, and that's a beautiful move.
Beautiful.
That's a great move by Owen. Jack Pearson as well, as he side by side Mr. John into Silicon as well. As he kept the position, they're almost touching doing Asani. Oh, but he's kept the position. Jack Pearson manages to make him up into 7th place.
Saying Nikita Mazepin could learn a thing or two from the drivers in the TGP2 field. As you see, can Sayer Sports come back at Owen? I don't think he can. I think Owen's just going to drive off now and set his sights at the Camelbabo in P3. Owen could still, if he really pushes it, I think he could still hang on for top 5 here. He's already got a 4-second gap over Baz. I think Jack Pearson might actually be the biggest threat for that top 5 finish.
It's really Alistair. I wouldn't say if he wins this race he'd have one hand on the title, possibly a finger. With just 3 laps to go here will be yet another win for him. And well, Jordan and Camelbabo would really have the work out for the following races. Would you say, Roy?
Yeah, I mean, Alistair, right now the momentum is just crazy. You know, we've got some of the flyaway races coming over, some pretty technical tracks coming up as well, with, you know, Monza, Singapore, you know, Yas Marina. You know, track limits are crucial around there, so you know it's got some pretty tough tracks on the way. And I think, you know, if Alistair can just build enough momentum right now and just give himself a cushion, you know, he can find himself, you know, in the luxurious position of actually being able to make a mistake or two.
Yep, because once you get those flyaway races, you can sustain a nice little one as well. You can get yourself back into contention. As Sebastian Vettel was always so good at those flyaway races, wasn't he? As we've seen back in the day. None of those flyaway races in the real F1 this year. You know why? But they will very much be here in TGP2 as Jack Pearson puts up another penalty.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what the field is going to be like at the end of this. I mean, who knows where Mr. John will end up. We know he has a fair share of penalties. Dom still behind. They're both, well, not great on the ERS management. They're both just over 20%, so they're even in terms of their energy deployment. So level playing field once again between 2 drivers that are battling on the circuit. In fact, it is the closest battle. Oh no, maybe not. Sertan Penguin gets past Red Bull Kim. Sayer Sports picks up a 3-second penalty.
It's going to be close then to Basil then, isn't it? 6th place. Oh my god, Basil was incredibly hard there, nearly lose it. Although Basil's got some penalties in his own, I think. So Sayer Sports might hold on to that 5th, which would be an excellent result for him.
Yeah, I think it's actually very good news for Owen. I think he's looking good for P4. So I think, you know, that penalty in the end won't actually matter. He's looking good as Dom Smith is run out of ERS. How's Mr. John doing on that front? He's looking very well. I think Mr. John has the upper hand, but of course we know he's got some time penalties to come post-race. I think more than, well, everyone.
Yeah. I wonder if Alice is going for fastest lap here. I can just see him deploying some overtake. But a comfortable 2-second lead. I think he will get faster. He's already 4 tenths down, but he is once again dominating. And he already has the fastest lap anyway. There's no real need to push for it.
He's got that extra point to be 26 instead of 25 as Dom. It's like Jordan again. I think he just needs to. At least he has no one behind him. But yeah, he needs to. He needs to save up this energy management because he's not looking good for passing Mr. John so far. But of course, the Mercedes driver does look like he has more pace at the moment.
Alistair leads by 1.8 seconds then, as he enters the final sector of this multi-minute lap. We've got a yellow flag out and it's for a yellow car. It's for Breeza, who, well, he seems to have spun into the pit entry. Pit exit even, I should say. I've always wondered what would happen if a car was to spin in there and it would deploy a safety car. Nearly happened the other day with Latifi. But anyway, here's Owen in 4th place. He is catching Takamo Babo. Oh, I can't even begin to explain though, or imagine how frustrated he will be after this race. It's just nothing's really gone his way, has it, in this race?
Yeah, I think looking at the pace now, I think if Owen had his normal qualifying
he gets in the fastest lap as well.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think he would have been on for the win today. I think he will definitely be kicking himself. This definitely is one of his better circuits on the calendar. But can he at least get past Kamababo on track? I think he's just outside of DRS range.
Yeah, I think he is. Kamababo doesn't have a penalty either, so it would, as you say, it would literally just be on track. The closest battle heading into this final lap will be Dom for 8th place on and Jordan's got a penalty on the final lap, although the gap is 4 seconds to Kamababo, so it shouldn't affect him. He's closed in a lot on this very last lap though. He must have been pushing to get to Alistair, but well, he's pushed himself into a penalty.
Yeah, I think thankfully for Jordan, I mean, I feel like he had nothing to lose. If he picked up a penalty, well, it's not going to affect his net position. Just 9 tenths between the front two, as Dom still can't get past Mr. John for a PA on the road.
What a race then this has been once again for Alistair. He is really on a roll, isn't he? And you have to, you know, sometimes you just got to say fair play, because he's going to take yet another win here. He's won Monaco this season, he's won Canada, France, Silverstone, Hungary, and it looks like he is about to win here in Belgium. Round to the final corner, through the bus stop chicane, and Alistair Bain will make it another win this season in TGP2 to take a commanding lead in this title fight now. Jordan will finish in 2nd, Kamababa will get 3rd, Owen will get 4th with his penalty. Can he keep it though, Roy?
I believe he can. Oh no! 11 thousandths of a second. I think Owen must have picked up another penalty elsewhere.
That just sums up his race, doesn't it? That sums up Owen's race.
An incident at the end of the race there. I don't know if the car ran out of fuel. We've two stricken cars on the pit lane. Maybe perhaps the AlphaTauri running out of fuel.
It looks like a big accident there.
It does indeed.
John, but Tom will get 7th. Tom ends up finishing ahead of Jack after that spin that Jack had earlier on in the race.
Angel versus Death gets a top 10 finish out of that, thanks to Mr. John.
Oh, it's very close to seeing Sid John Penguin and Nell Jack across the line here for 12-13. I'm not sure whether they'll shake out the penalties.
Sir Tom Penguin takes P12.
Does indeed.
Solid drive.
Will bring up the field. He won't necessarily be last, of course, because Breeza was lapped. Still can't quite believe he pitted.
Yeah, it's a bizarre strategy. Former race leader finishes a lap down.
Well then, an Angel versus Death gets driver of the day for that top. Fair play.
Yeah, you know what? I think that is a deserved result. I believe he was towards the back of the field at the start of the race, and yeah, he's managed to work his way up to the top 10 places. See Alistair on the podium. He'll be very happy with that. Championship lead extends once again.
Yeah, Cyril Abitbol will also be very happy, won't he?
Yep. Not real life, of course, so no tattoos will be applied to Cyril Abitbol. But, you know.
Unless maybe he just wants one personally, you never know.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those things. He's kind of had it on the bucket list, thinking maybe he needs a bit of a push. But anyway, let's go through the results of the Belgian round of the TGP2 season. Alistair wins the race by just the 3.9 seconds over Jordan, who did have a penalty. Kamababa completes the podium again as the title contenders right at the front. Joe Serra with an excellent fourth. Mayor Quenby, Owen finishing fifth with the fastest lap of the race, so he will get 11 points. Baza comes home sixth. Dom a very solid P7. Jack will be very disappointed to come home in P8. He had much more potential. Blair Grilled ninth. Angel vs Death rounding at the top 10. Mr. John, Sir Tom Penguin, Nell Jack, Red Bull Kim, and then Breezer, who was lapped and indecisive, who crashed earlier on in the session and brought out the safety car at the end of lap 1. And the session does continue. I thought for a moment my game had some technical fault, but yeah, that wraps up your night's racing at Hungary and Belgium.
Yeah, just before we go, let's just have a quick look at the top 4 in the championship then. And I believe right now we are looking at Alistair on 234 points after an excellent night tonight. Jordan is now 24 points behind on 210. Camo Babo on 209. It's so close between those two still. And Owen, after that terrible race he just had in Spa, is on 188. So Alistair getting quite a big lead now, but there's still many races to go.
Yeah, we said before in the stream that the top 4 were never separated by more than 17 points. Well, I mean now the gap between first and second, has grown beyond that. So I mean it's been an excellent night for Alistair, picking up both race wins
and a fastest lap in Hungary.
Of course.
Indeed. So I hope you've enjoyed tonight's races, everyone. We will be back next week for Monza and the absolutely fantastic endurance race that is Singapore. Thank you very much for watching. Good night.